Welcome back. We are opening Inside Sources today with a discussion on the state of the nation. Quite a few issues. Hopefully we get the time to get to them. Joining me here in the studio is Mr. Mojeed Dahiru, a TV analyst and newspaper columnist. Mr. Mojeed, welcome back to Inside Sources.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. And today we have an analyst who is joining us by Zoom from the United Kingdom, Mr. Ayo Akinfe, who is the chairman of the Central Association of Nigerians in the United Kingdom. Mr. Akinfe, you are welcome to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much.
All right, good. So let's start from Dahiru. This refinery situation seems to be getting exciting. For several years, the NNPC refineries, were dead. Dangote refinery came up, and now, Petrol refinery is running at between 60 to 70% capacity. What's your take on that?
I think it's a good development, and it will seem as though Dangote refinery that's come on stream kind of spurred the NNPC to also revamp their own refinery. But you will agree with me that it was a long process, really. It's a journey that started yesterday from the previous administration when the contract for the rehabilitation of the old Petrol refinery was awarded. And thankfully, the current administration also saw it through and made sure that it was seen to conclusion. And by the grace of God, for the first time in many years, we saw products being rolled out from that facility. Products like DPK, diesel, aviation fuel, kerosene, and of course, petrol.
Goodness.
So I think it's a good development, and we hope that the NNPC will be able to sustain this feat, to also bring on stream the second Petrol refinery, which has a larger capacity, and also quickly resuscitate the Warren refinery, and if possible, to get on stream the Kaduna refinery. So with this, I'm sure Nigeria will be self-sufficient to some extent in local refining capacity and be able to export as well. So it's a good development.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Ayo Akinfe. Let's get the take of Nigerians in diaspora about what has happened in the oil and gas sector, specifically the revival of the refinery, the public refineries, soon after the Dangote refinery came on stream. Ayo, what's your take?
Well, my view, and I'm sure that of most diasporans, is that eventually, ultimately, demand and supply fundamentals are going to be what will work in this market. What we've had in Nigeria is that a cabal have created artificial scarcity, and that's hiked prices. If you have 20 to 30 refineries functioning at full capacity, it will force prices down. So for me, it's like, ultimately what we need to do is have government policy that encourages investors to open refineries. For instance, we have 36 states. I don't see why each state should not have at least one refinery, to supply its people. That will force prices down. So my view is, I agree with what has been said earlier. I agree with one, competition forcing others to act. And it's my sincere view that, by 2025, by the end of 2025, there'll be so many operators in the markets, prices will come tumbling down.
Okay. Thank you, Ayo and Dahiru, for the opening comments. So the other issue that I wanted us to treat, and I'll take that to the studio from Dahiru, is that, so do we expect, or is it imaginable to expect that what seems to be the competition now, at least, at some level, not quite, on equal level yet, would that influence the pricing?
No, not very much. And this brings us back to the issue of energy security, especially when you talk about the affordability component. I am an apostle of subsidies. I believe that every nation must determine citizen affordability threshold for energy prices. Because energy is the oxygen of the economy. What oxygen or air is to the living thing is what energy is to the economy. And so I do not believe that the price of energy should at all times be determined by market forces. I'm one of those who don't believe that. And so we need to take a second look at this issue. Now that we have local refining capacity coming up, I think it will be easier to manage a price intervention mechanism.
Now that we have...
it is measurable, you know what you are paying for. I know that importation and subsidizing importation of refined product can be very tricky.
Yes.
Because of the amorphous nature of importation itself. But now that you have refineries working at home, it is easy to intervene either from the production side or from the utilization side. So I believe that whether we like it or not as a nation, we must still come around the table to have a discussion on how do we intervene in the pricing mechanism so as to bring it below the affordability threshold of Nigerian citizens. For a country of 70,000 naira minimum wage a month, petrol price at over 8,000 naira is way beyond affordability threshold and is affecting the economy. It has impoverished Nigerians. It has reduced productivity. It has created serious economic crisis. In fact, in the UK, you call it cost of living crisis. In Nigeria, I can assure you that what we're having is cost of existence crisis. The government must take up this role because it's a matter of national security.
Right.
Energy security is a matter of national security. So government has a responsibility to intervene in pricing, contrary to what some neoliberal pundits may want to say. So the only way price can come down is when government intervenes. Otherwise, you have to wait patiently until there is a fall in the price of crude oil.
On the international market.
In the international market. And that will impact us negatively as well from one side.
In terms of our foreign earnings.
Foreign earnings. So I think we need to have a conversation now about how do we now intervene in pricing so that Nigerians can have the benefit of being citizens of an oil-producing country like other oil-producing countries.
So now let's go to the next issue, and I'm going to start with Ayo on this one. The president has done quite a bit of traveling, you know, and of course there's already talk of shuttle diplomacy. On Wednesday, he went to Paris, you know, to honor a request, an invitation from the president of France for a state visit. Now, Ayo, you are out there in the diaspora, you are in the UK. What do you think is the benefit that Nigeria is getting, might get, from this quote-unquote shuttle diplomacy? Or do you think that it's actually becoming wasteful? Ayo.
Well, I think the principle of it is good. It's right to try and attract foreign investment, foreign direct investment. The unfortunate situation is that it's not working at the moment. And you see, figures don't lie. We diasporans remit $25 billion a year into the Nigerian economy. All right. No foreign investor even comes close. Something like France, we should have $25 billion in foreign direct investment from France, $25 billion from the UK, $25 billion from the US, $25 billion from Canada. That is what the president, the foreign minister, the finance minister should be pursuing. But we're not seeing all this. So I would like to beg the question, these foreign trips, are they really, really investment driven, or are they just holidays? You know, I would like to see those on the president's entourage. How many businessmen are there? How many bankers are there? How many economists are there? You know, if you were to go to somewhere like France, for instance, and look at some of the investors, say Peugeot Automobile or Citroën, you know, they would need Nigerians to sit down and tell them the benefit of coming to open a plant in Nigeria. We should be able to tell them, look, we'll offer you a 10-year tax holiday, we'll offer you highly skilled staff, we'll obviously offer you security, we will offer you, 24-hour electricity, water, good schools for your children. All these things are packages like this put together before the president goes on his trips. You know, I would like to know, because at the moment, I don't think enough homework is going into these trips, and they're not pushing hard enough. And as we can see, we just haven't attracted the foreign direct investment.
Thank you, Ayo. Majid, what do you think? Ayo thinks that it's not looking like like a foreign investment.
It looks more like holiday.
It looks more like an holiday. What do you think?
Well, the optics really sometimes may suggest that indeed it looks like our leaders just like to, hop on the next available jet and just. However, I have a different opinion about the entire concept of foreign direct investments. I think that any country that is willing to develop and grow its wealth of a nation should actually be pursuing overseas investment. That is, what Nigeria should be doing now is looking towards countries of Africa, maybe South America, and any other countries in the category of less developing economies to also invest Nigerian entities in those countries.
Okay.
So that Nigeria will also become a foreign investor nation. Because foreign investment by its nature is more profitable to the country of origin than the country of destination. Foreign investment is predatory by nature. And so if you look at the countries of the West that have grown so much in wealth, it's because of their presence in the world market.
The whole idea of colonialism.
That's what it is. So essentially, Nigerians seem to be jumping at a bit where economic colonialism is being discussed under the guise of foreign direct investment. So we want to see Nigeria, for instance, explore economic opportunities in the oil and gas industry of South Sudan for the AA Ranos, for the Dangotes, for the Matrix Oil, and other local entities. We want to see the Nigerian government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Investment, explore opportunities for telecoms, for the global coms in, say, Ghana, in, say, Togo, and, say, Sierra Leone. We want to see the hospitality industry in Nigeria get a foothold in the tourism sector of Gambia, where our homegrown hospitality entities can have a space, an investment space, to benefit from the pounds, the euro, and the dollars that come into that country every year by holiday makers. These are the kind of things I think Nigeria should be doing now. And the only time you would actually go after foreign investment will be to enhance your local capabilities for export competitiveness. So for instance, if you are purchasing an entity into Nigeria, it is to manufacture goods and services that will be exported.
Yeah. And then their plants will be here in Nigeria.
Exported in partnership with Nigerian entities, you export those entities. Or if you want to also help enhance the capacities of Nigerians to export these other less developed economies, you can need foreign partnership in that regard. That should be the case, because every country must be outward looking. You need to look beyond your borders to shore up your sources of revenue, not to build your wealth of nation. That was the purpose behind colonialism itself. Before that, it was mercantilism.
Yeah.
And now neoliberalism, and neocolonialism, and of course, so-called foreign direct investment. So we also need to become an investor nation. And we don't seem to be thinking about that. Our policymakers don't seem to be thinking about that at all.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, Ayo, I wanted you to respond and also try and expand on what you had said before, that, look, Nigerians in diaspora actually, do more than foreign direct investments, So what do you have in mind?
Well, what I have in mind is you look at other countries, India, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia. In all of these countries, the equivalent of NIDCOM, the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, has put in place structures whereby diasporans can actually send money that goes into the national, into the federation accounts. And, they put these instruments in place, and this money is then invested in factories, in job creation, in infrastructure development. It creates jobs, it employs people, and it boosts national wealth and income. At the moment, we are just sending money to family members, paying school fees, looking after relatives. The government, NIDCOM in particular, needs to do a lot more. They need to work with the central bank and come up with instruments that we can invest in. Okay, just take power supply, for instance. Why do we not have an investment vehicle via which diasporans can invest in power supply in each of our 36 states? that would resolve the problem of epileptic power supply. Education is another area where we've got a big problem. One other area that is overlooked at the moment is healthcare. Now, a lot of diasporans, I can tell you this as Kanuche, a lot of diasporans remain in the diaspora because of the lack of a viable healthcare delivery system in Nigeria. If we sorted that out, you'll be amazed at the number of middle-aged and elderly diasporans who would return home. So if I was a NITCOM chair, one of the things I'd be doing now is putting in place a healthcare investment program that maybe allows us to invest in at least one general hospital in each of our 774 local government areas. If you have that, and then maybe have 2 or 3 specialist hospitals in each of the 36 states, it will resolve a lot of these issues, and you'll see diasporas coming back home to invest and to create more jobs. So we just need to think outside the box, and there's a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity out there, but I just don't think we've got our thinking hats on right.
Okay, all right, good. Now let's move to the final point of conversation on this panel roundtable today. It's about the budget and borrowing. If you follow the news, you will see that I think the National Assembly has approved MTEF, and there has been a public hearing, a joint public hearing of both houses on the issues of preparing for the budget. Hopefully, the budget is going to be presented before the end of the year. But one thing that has stuck out, or 2 things. Number one is that it seems that the revenue generation has increased fairly significantly. You know, customs is making more money, FRS is getting more Nigerians in the tax net, and all of that. As a matter of fact, there is even talk that we are getting close to 1.8 million barrels per day, or heading for 2 million barrels per day. So people are just juxtaposing that with the idea of, still requiring a $2 billion, facility, loan facility to close the gap in budget financing. And so the question has come up, and the federal government agencies, spokespeople, the minister, the FRS chairman, and the rest of them have said, look, I mean, we still need that, foreign earning gap to finance the budget. What's your take? First, Dairo.
This clearly indicates that even the best of times, when you have a ramped up revenue from the usual sources, taxes, duties, levies, and even oil production, Nigeria will still have to borrow to augment these earnings. This is not even talking about the value of the earnings in Naira compared to dollar. Let us even leave that. There's been an agreement that there's a general improvement in revenue, and they've surpassed their targets, most of the MDAs. Right. So there's something fundamentally wrong with our economy. Fundamental. And we have to have a rethinking of our political economic philosophy in this country.
Okay.
Is when a man does not do anything productive, doesn't work, he doesn't do anything to earn money, but he's living an ostentatious lifestyle. So there are only 2 ways he can sustain that lifestyle. Either he steals or he extorts. And if he cannot steal and extort, then he borrows. So that is the category that Nigeria belongs to. You see, the day we started talking about government having no business in business was the beginning of the problems of Nigeria. So as we speak, beyond revenue generating entities like the FIRS, the customs, and NNPC, you can't point to me one single entity that belongs to either the state government or any state government in Nigeria or the federal government that is an income-generating business enterprise. It's almost absent. Whereas if you look at the economies of the Middle East, the Gulf countries, if you look at the economies of Europe, with the exception of the UK, which makes UK a strong economy amongst its European brother nations. Right. If you look at even the United States of America, of course, China, you have state-owned enterprises that are not just operating out, but are multinationals, bringing in huge revenues in terms of foreign operations into the coffers of the government directly.
That's a good, interesting point. To just wrap it up, Ayo, are you following? What's your take on this idea of budget and borrowing And you are in Nigeria, in the UK. I'm sure that you will have a unique perspective. Go on, Ayo.
Well, to be honest, you just look at the Nigerian economy. Our total GDP is about what, 500 billion. It's too small for 200 million people. Our foreign direct investment is just too tiny. We need an economy of at least $2 trillion to live at ease. You know, our annual budget is what, 25 billion. We need an annual budget of at least $1 trillion to live at ease with ourselves. And for me, the way to do this is to attract foreign direct investment. If we're getting something like, $3 trillion worth of foreign direct investment and maybe $1 trillion of internal investment, on top of that, it would create jobs. It would end all this insecurity crisis. I mean, in certain states of the country, our young people have no option other than kidnapping, because that is the only industry that is available to them. There are no schools, there are no vocational education, there's no manufacturing. So we in the diaspora would like to help. We're having an event, a gala dinner on December the 14th, and this is going to be one of the discussion topics we're going to have there. How can the UK diaspora assist in the development of Nigeria? It would be ideal if we had somebody from the Nigerian government to actually come and contribute and speak as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo Akinfe, the chairman of the Central Association of Nigerians in the UK, and right here in the studio, Mr. Moji Dairu. Thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much.